Before sunrise on a cold December morning, along a lonely stretch of Ocean Parkway, a K-9 officer made a discovery that would shatter the quiet coastal towns of Long Island. Inside a rolled burlap sack, buried in the sand, lay the first body. Within months, 3 more would be found. Within years, a total of 10 victims would emerge along the same desolate roadway, a graveyard hidden in plain sight. This is the story of the Long Island serial killer, also known as Lisk. A case that spans from 1996 to 2011, involving multiple victims, countless suspects, and a hunt that lasted decades. Even today, parts of this case remain unsolved. But to understand what happened on Gilgo Beach, we must return to where it all began. Gilgo Beach is a quiet, windswept coastline on the southern edge of Long Island, New York. Miles of sand dunes, a thin highway running between the Atlantic Ocean and dense marshland. No homes, no streetlights, no real reason for anyone to be there after dark. For years, there were whispers about missing women connected through online ads, but nothing that suggested a serial predator was stalking this isolated stretch of shoreline. That changed in December of 2010. Officers searching for a missing woman instead found human remains hidden in a burlap sack. As the search expanded, 3 more victims were uncovered nearby, then 4 more, and eventually, additional remains further west. Each discovery revealed the same chilling truth. Someone had been using Gilgo Beach as a dumping ground for years. The early victims were wrapped in burlap, the kind used in landscaping and gardening. They were placed several hundred meters apart, as if the killer was familiar with the terrain. The locations suggested careful planning, comfort with the environment, and a methodical approach. These were not spontaneous acts. These were calculated steps taken by someone who understood how to avoid detection. Forensic teams worked tirelessly, but years of exposure to the elements made evidence almost impossible to preserve. Whoever the killer was had relied on time, weather, and isolation to erase their tracks. And for a long time, it worked. The discovery of multiple victims triggered a massive multi-agency investigation. Detectives from Suffolk County, the New York State Police, the FBI, and local departments joined together in one of the largest serial killer hunts in modern history. Case files piled up. Maps with red pins lined the walls. Phone records revealed patterns of burner phones and brief calls to victims shortly before they disappeared. Still, despite hundreds of leads, the investigation stalled. No definitive suspect, no arrests, no major breakthroughs. For nearly a decade, the case grew cold, and many believed the killer was either dead or long gone. But in 2023, everything changed. A new task force reviewed old evidence using modern technology. DNA testing had evolved. Cell tower triangulation became more accurate, and slowly, pieces of the puzzle began to align. Investigators traced cell phone activity near the crime scenes. They connected burner phone data to a man who lived just miles from the dumping sites. A man who lived what appeared to be an ordinary suburban life in Massapequa Park. His name was Rex Hoyerman. Hair found on one of the victims matched his DNA. His vehicle matched descriptions from witness reports. Cell site analysis placed him near the crime scenes at critical times. Search warrants were executed. Investigators combed through his home, his office, his vehicles, and his devices. What they uncovered led to multiple murder charges. The arrest shocked the community. For years, people had speculated that the killer might have been a police officer, a drifter, or someone long dead. Few imagined the suspect would be an architect with a quiet reputation, living in a peaceful neighborhood. But here's where the mystery deepens. Not all the victims have been connected to Hoyerman. Some of the remains were left in different ways. Some timelines don't match. And some victims discovered along Ocean Parkway are still unidentified. This has led investigators to consider a troubling possibility that there may have been more than one killer operating in the same region, or that some murders were committed by a copycat, or that the truth of what happened along Gilgo Beach is far more complicated than anyone realized today. Several families are still waiting for answers. Some bodies have never been officially linked to a suspect. Some identities remain unknown, and parts of the case remain unsolved. Gilgo Beach, once known for its peaceful shoreline, is now forever tied to one of America's most haunting mysteries. A case that raises questions about digital evidence, investigative failures, and the dark corners of human nature. As the waves continue to crash against the cold Atlantic shoreline, the truth of what happened here between 1996 and 2011 remains partially buried beneath shifting sand and fading memories. The investigation continues, the unanswered questions remain, and the shadow of the Long Island serial killer still lingers. If you want more deep, cinematic, true crime stories like this one, make sure to subscribe and tell me which case you want next. The shadows of America's darkest mysteries run deep, and together we'll follow them wherever they lead.